lying to you, saying nothing's going on, and it's her that he's cheating with.
Yeah, betrayal is really a devastating.
For decades, Shania Twain has been the queen of country pop, the voice that could fill stadiums and the smile that lit up the world. From Man, I Feel Like a Woman, to countless chart-topping hits, she seemed untouchable in talent, in fame, in life. But behind the glittering awards and sold-out arenas, whispers swirled, rumors, secrets, questions fans dared not ask. And now at 60, Shania Twain has finally spoken. The truth is more shocking than anyone could have imagined. A lifetime of carefully guarded privacy, of smiling for the cameras while battling pain, heartbreak, and relentless scrutiny, has finally been acknowledged. The rumors about her personal life, her health, her struggles, were not exaggerations. They were reality. And now, she has confirmed what millions have long suspected. The life of the superstar was never as perfect as it appeared. This is not the story of a singer who lost her voice. This is the story of a woman who found her strength amid adversity, who rose from betrayal, heartbreak, and doubt, and yet faced her most challenging battles in silence. The spotlight hid the tears, the applause hid the loneliness, and the music hid the pain. At 60, Shania Twain is finally telling the world the rumors were real. The struggles were real, and the journey she endured to become the icon we know today was far more heartbreaking, complex and human than anyone ever imagined, long before sold-out arenas, platinum albums, and global superstardom. Shania Twain's life was marked by hardship, loss, and relentless struggle. Born Eileen Regina Edwards in Windsor, Ontario, Shania's early years were anything but idyllic. Her parents separated when she was young, leaving her and her siblings to navigate the churning waters of emotional instability and financial uncertainty. Money was scarce and survival was a daily challenge. But even amid these difficulties, young Shania discovered a spark, a love for music that would eventually define her destiny. Her childhood was further marred by tragedy when her parents' circumstances grew darker. Shania's father battled personal demons and struggled to provide, while her mother tried desperately to hold the family together. The weight of responsibility fell heavily on Shania from a young age, forcing her into premature maturity. She sang in local venues, talent shows, and church choirs, often as a way to escape the chaos at home. Music became both her sanctuary and her shield. Yet even as her talent became apparent, life dealt blow after blow. Shania's family faced serious financial strain, forcing her to take part-time jobs and odd gigs to help support her siblings. While other children played and dreamed, she was learning resilience, determination, and the harsh realities of adult responsibility far too early. Every note she sang, every small performance, was imbued with a mix of longing and survival. Her dreams of stardom were born not from whimsy, but from the need to rise above the pain surrounding her. It was during her teenage years that Shania's identity began to form alongside her music. She adopted the stage name Shania Twain, a reinvention that mirrored the transformation she wanted in her life. The stage became her escape, a place where she could step outside the hardships, the heartbreak, and the quiet despair. But it also became a crucible, teaching her lessons about perseverance, patience, and the costs of chasing success. The shy, determined girl from Windsor was slowly evolving into a woman who would soon command global stages. Yet the scars of her past remained deeply etched. Even as she started performing professionally, Shania faced rejection, criticism, and the relentless challenge of an industry dominated by men. Talent alone was never enough. She was forced to fight for every opportunity, often encountering individuals who underestimated her because of her youth, her background, or her gender. These early battles hardened her, but they also created a loneliness that would follow her throughout her career. Friends and mentors would later note that despite her rising fame, Shania always carried a shadow, a quiet awareness of what she had endured and what she still had to overcome. By the late 1980s, Shania's voice, charisma, and drive began attracting attention, but the journey from local performances to national recognition was long and arduous. Every milestone was earned through sweat, heartbreak, and determination. The hardships of her youth, poverty, family instability, emotional strain, became both fuel and burden. They gave her the grit to survive the industry. But they also left invisible wounds that would shape her relationships, her choices, and the way she navigated fame later in life. Shania Twain's early struggles were not merely a backdrop for her rise to stardom, they were the foundation. Without the pain, loss, and relentless challenge of her formative years, the icon we know today might never have existed. But those same struggles left her wounded, wary, and cautious, a complexity that few fans would ever see behind the dazzling performances and chart-topping hits. By the early 1990s, Shania Twain had transformed from a determined young singer from Windsor into a global superstar. Her breakout album, The Woman in Me, catapulted her into the spotlight, blending country roots with pop sensibilities in a way that no one had seen before. Overnight, she became a household name, selling millions of records and captivating audiences worldwide. Yet with that meteoric rise came pressures few could imagine, and a personal life under constant scrutiny. The world saw Shania as a confident, radiant performer, but behind the curtain, life was far more complicated. Shania's first marriage to music producer Robert John "Mutt" Lang initially seemed like a perfect match, a union of creativity, ambition, and shared vision. Together they crafted some of her most iconic work, from Come On Over to Up. The duo was unstoppable professionally, but fame and creative collaboration came with a hidden cost. Long hours in studios, endless tours, and the glare of the global spotlight created stress that seeped into their marriage. Friends and insiders would later describe the relationship as intense, passionate, but also fragile, with tensions simmering beneath the surface. The media, relentless as ever, took note. Every public appearance, every interview, every subtle interaction was scrutinized, dissected, and spun into headlines. Rumors of marital strain, disagreements, and personal difficulties began circulating even at the peak of her career. For a woman who had spent her life protecting herself from the harsh realities of fame, this invasion was exhausting. The pressure to maintain an image of perfection while battling personal and professional challenges left Shania navigating an emotional tightrope. Despite these challenges, she remained a consummate professional. She delivered sold-out performances, award-winning albums, and a carefully curated public persona that projected confidence and control. But those closest to her observed the cracks, the quiet moments of doubt, the private tears, and the deep longing for stability. Fame, which once seemed like salvation, also became a source of isolation. The people around her were often drawn to the celebrity, not the woman, and trust became a rare commodity. Her marriage, which had begun as a partnership of love and creativity, eventually suffered under these pressures. Betrayal and heartbreak entered her life in ways that would leave scars. The dissolution of her relationship with Lang was devastating, and the public scrutiny made it even more painful. Every rumor, every whispered speculation magnified her personal grief. It was a stark reminder that for stars like Shania Twain, privacy is a luxury the world rarely allows. Through it all, Shania learned to endure. She channeled the pain into her music, using lyrics to process heartbreak and experiences. But the emotional toll was undeniable. The combination of intense fame, romantic betrayal, and constant public attention left her wary, guarded, and acutely aware that the life she had achieved came with sacrifices most would never see. Fame had made her a global icon, but it had also placed her in a cage of expectations, rumors, and relentless observation. And even as fans celebrated her, Shania faced the private reality that success could not shield her from heartbreak, loneliness, or the weight of the life she had built under constant scrutiny. For someone who appeared larger than life on stage, Shania Twain's health battles remained a hidden and heartbreaking part of her story. At the height of her career, the energy, the power, and the precision of her performances seemed effortless. Millions watched, mesmerized by her voice and charisma, unaware of the physical and emotional toll simmering beneath the surface. Behind the dazzling sequins and stadium lights, Shania struggled quietly, facing challenges that threatened not only her career, but her identity as an artist. One of the most significant hurdles came in the form of dysphonia, a rare vocal disorder that impairs the voice and makes singing extremely difficult. For a performer whose entire life revolved around her vocal ability, This was devastating. The diagnosis forced Shania into an unexpected battle, one that required patience, therapy, and a profound acceptance of vulnerability. The powerful, commanding voice that had inspired millions could no longer be taken for granted. Every note had to be fought for, and every performance carried a layer of anxiety invisible to fans. But physical challenges were only part of the struggle. Emotional and psychological pressures compounded the difficulty. The scrutiny of the public, the lingering rumors about her personal life, and the expectation to maintain perfection left Shania under constant stress. The industry she had conquered as a young woman now seemed relentless, and even small missteps carried exaggerated consequences. Her health struggles, while private, became a symbol of the unseen costs of fame, a reminder that the life of a superstar is rarely as glamorous as it appears. During this period, Shania faced not only vocal issues but also personal battles of confidence and resilience. The pressure to perform, coupled with the emotional aftermath of her divorce and public speculation, created a quiet but persistent sense of isolation. Even surrounded by friends, family, and collaborators, she experienced moments of profound solitude. These were not the headlines her fans wanted to read. They were the hidden truths of survival, the quiet fights that no award or accolade could recognize. Yet through these challenges, Shania displayed remarkable strength. She sought therapy, vocal training, and the support of those closest to her, demonstrating a resilience that few outside her inner circle witnessed. Music remained both her anchor and her therapy. Writing new material, exploring personal expression through lyrics, and gradually regaining control over her voice became acts of reclaiming her life. Each step was painstaking, but it also underscored the indomitable spirit that had propelled her from a small-town girl to a global icon. What made this period particularly heartbreaking was the disconnect between public perception and private reality. Fans continued to see Shania Twain as flawless, vibrant, and untouchable, unaware of the nights she spent battling frustration, pain, and self-doubt. The rumors that would eventually surface were not sensationalized fabrications. They were rooted in real struggles that had shaped her life, often fought in silence. The truth behind the voice that once seemed unshakable was a testament to perseverance against adversity, a reminder that fame does not exempt anyone from hardship. In confronting these health challenges, Shania Twain became more than just a singer. She became a survivor. Every song she eventually returned to the stage to sing carried not just melody, but the weight of battles endured in silence, the resilience forged through private struggle, and the courage to face a world that demanded perfection even when life made it impossible. These silent struggles, long hidden behind sequins and spotlights, would ultimately set the stage for the revelations that came at 60, confirming the rumors and giving the world an unfiltered look at the life of a woman who had endured far more than anyone could have imagined. At 60, Shania Twain has finally spoken. The whispers, the speculation, the rumors that have surrounded her life for years are now confirmed, and the truth is far more human and heartbreaking than many expected. For decades, fans saw her as untouchable, the powerful voice, the flawless performances, the confident persona. But behind that glamour, Shania lived a life filled with trials, betrayals, and private battles that few ever imagined. And now, at this milestone age, she has allowed the world a glimpse of the reality behind the icon. The rumors that had long circulated about the struggles in her marriage, her battles with health, and the pressures of fame were not exaggerations. They were real, lived experiences that shaped her life, her career, and the woman she became. In interviews and candid moments, Shania has acknowledged the pain of living under a microscope while simultaneously trying to heal herself. She spoke openly about the heartbreak of betrayal, the strain of public judgment, and the personal sacrifices required to maintain a career that demanded perfection at all costs. Yet, amid the confirmation of these long-held rumors, there is also resilience. Shania Twain has not only survived, she has reclaimed her narrative. She has used her platform to speak honestly, to challenge the assumptions of fame, and to remind the world that celebrities are human, vulnerable, imperfect, and deeply affected by the trials they endure. In doing so, she has transformed rumors and whispers into a story of strength and perseverance, proving that truth, however painful, can also be liberating. Her legacy, however, is far more than the confirmation of struggles. It is a testament to the power of music to heal and inspire, the courage to face life's harshest realities, and the determination to continue creating art despite adversity. Fans who once celebrated her songs now understand the depth behind them. Every lyric, every performance, and every note carries a piece of her journey, her pain, and her triumph. The rumors that shook the public were never just gossip. They were echoes of a life fully lived, with all its hardships and victories. For Shania Twain, the act of confirming these rumors is not simply about answering questions or setting the record straight. It is about ownership of her story, embracing both the triumphs and the heartbreaks that have defined her. It is a declaration that she will not be reduced to speculation, that the woman behind the stage persona deserves acknowledgement for both her struggles and her incredible resilience. And in doing so, she invites others to see her as she truly is, a survivor, an artist, and a human being who has endured far more than her public image ever suggested. As she reflects on her life at 60, Shania acknowledges the bittersweet balance between fame and personal hardship. She has experienced heartbreak, illness, and betrayal, but she has also experienced love, success, and the unwavering support of those closest to her. Her story reminds us that legends are not born perfect. They are forged through struggle, shaped by adversity, and defined by the courage to confront life honestly. The rumors that have lingered for years are now truths, but they are not the end of her story. They are a testament to survival, authenticity, and the strength of a woman who refused to let life break her spirit. At 60, Shania Twain has finally confirmed the rumors, but in doing so, she has revealed something far more profound: the heart and resilience of a woman who, despite everything, continues to shine.